till the final lap's gone. Not just watching, we're in the run, chasing the truth, the family tale. Rip the night, feel the story ignite. Every battle burning under broadcast lights. From the green to the checkered flag, we make the moments larger than life. Every call, every day move, every driver's dream comes true. If you love the race beyond the wheel, virtual grid network makes it real. It's more than laps and running lines. It's heartbeats caught between the times. From the first grid call to the final cheer, we turn the race into something you feel. Slow it down, then build it higher. Voices rise with the engine fire. Every replay, every stand-up fight, nothing together on race night. In the night that the legends sleep, or the underdog, every winning streak. From hometown heroes to the final glide, we hold on till the end of the fight. When the string goes down, the echoes remain. Another chapter written in speed and fame. If you live for the more than the racing truth, virtual grip network, that's you. Sign of fame, but the passion stays. Another race in the broadcast haze till the lights go green and the mics ignite. Virtual grip network grips the night.
The OBRL YesterYear Racing Cup Series is finally back, 2 months after a season that saw Sean Foltz crowned champion for the first time in his OBRL career. This season, the boys have thrown in a little twist. We go back to 2004, the year of the Gen 4 Cup car, as well as the start of the NASCAR playoff system. A system that would see the top 16 drivers in total points reset with 10 races to go. No more winning in. This season, the drivers will need consistency, something that can be very hard to accomplish this week as we roll into the beaches of Daytona, doing 3 wide at 200 miles per hour. I'm Zach Chapman, a.k.a. Shaggy, along with my partner in crime, B-Mac Brian McCrae, and we are ready to bring 90 laps at the Daytona International Speedway, but we couldn't do that without the absolute best in the business behind the curtain, the one and only Ryan Seneker, and a few key sponsors: Top Flight Computers, Kailu Glass, Zero Shoes, and of course, our title sponsor, YesterYear Racing. B-Mac, what can I say, brother? 2025 was an absolute showstopper, and to say I'm excited to be back would be an understatement, man. What should we expect here tonight is, I didn't have this filled out, but 50 drivers line up for week 1 here in 2026.
Well, it just reflects the excitement in the league, Zach, and we are, every year brings excitement. Every year brings, Daytona brings that. Every season we see big fields, but this year, going back to these old school cars and going back to the 2004 schedule and with the growth of the league in general, it's been even more of a buzz, and that's why we're seeing 50 cars on the grid today.
You know, with a couple changes. So last season, we would have, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but 3 sets of extra tires. This year, we're going to have 4, right? Is that
That's right. Getting one extra set, so we're getting 4 actually sets. And I think that's going to make a lot more flexibility in terms of taking tires, especially early in the race, so that they add a neat little sprinkle.
Now, you know, you and I were talking before this thing went off. Obviously, the Gen 4 car, I mean, different handling characteristics. You had to wheel these things around. You know, you had to be a little lighter with that right foot, take it easy. Do you think that extra tire set kind of needed and will be utilized? Do you think we expect to use all of them? Maybe not here at Daytona, but I mean, at the races coming forward, these things are going to chew up tires.
They absolutely chew up tires. There's so much power going to the rear tires, and that's you're managing that almost from the get-go. So you're naturally just harder on tires across the board. I don't think it'll be, like you said, as much of a factor at Daytona, but we're at old Daytona today, so this is the bumpy version. And these cars are unsteady and they are unstable, especially in the draft. And so you will see handling become an issue, and it might be the guy who takes 2 tires there at the end that has the handling to win the race.
And that being said, you know, I think it'll be a risk and reward situation here. BMAC, if we do get, which I expect, you know, I'm not going to cast the doubt out yet. I know we have 50 cars, but I do expect a green flag pit stop here. I mean, do you have the, what do they say, cojones to just take 2 tires after running a full fuel load, or do you think it's going to be necessary to get all 4 here?
I think you'll have to do something like take 2 tires. You know, we just got finished racing these cars a couple of weeks ago. We had a full season, and the Daytona race was actually a fuel mileage race, and it became about managing momentum, getting on pit road perfectly, perfect pit stops, and getting off pit road. And it was those guys who were able to maintain that positive momentum through that pit transitions were the ones that were there at the end.
Now, while I love strategy, you know, and I hope maybe we get to see some throughout the year, BMAC, I do not want to see what we saw at Daytona today, where they were playing that fuel mileage game, just kind of running around, putting around. That wouldn't be fun to see, but man, I shouldn't be surprised. But as I'm looking down through my software, I mean, we have 44 guys, BMAC, who have put in a time so far, all within a quarter of a second. Unbelievable, even with all those bumps and hiccups you talked about the old Daytona bringing.
Well, remember, this is the drafting package from this first era cars. Remember, it was a parade a lot of times. These cars don't have the power to suck up in the draft, and so you are managing momentum. And so these cars are going to, you know, when they do bunch up, you're going to have to be able to stay off of the car in front of you to be able to let it bounce around in the draft without letting up off the gas. And so I'm not surprised to see the qualifying times where they are, because really when you're qualifying this car, you're not in the drafts. You're going so slow. So it really is about nailing that perfect lap.
Well, Ryan, it's about that time. I think we can bring up our first starting lineup here of the season. Kevin Strandberg, the newcomer in the 01, or at least new for me, BMAC. You know, maybe he's been around with you guys for a while, but new here, didn't run last season. Starting off with a bang, P1 in the 01, Andrew Medlin in the 12 to the outside.
And sitting P3, the 24, Brian Lindsay. On the outside, the general, number 83, Dwayne MacArthur.
Eddie Jones takes that 14 machine and lines up on the inside of row 3 to the top shelf, the 79 of Juan Corey.
And sitting 7th, representing Top Flight Racing, the 00, Lloyd Moore. And on his outside, the hammer, number 88, Greg Hammond.
Row 5 to the inside, the 37 of Double E, Eric Essery to the top shelf, the 49 of Ken Allen.
And P11, 87, the Bull, Brian Glass. And on the outside, the 77, Roger Hurley.
The Caveman in the 94, Scott Negus, lines up on the inside of row 7 to the top shelf, the 33 of Todd Cousins. And I just realized the Caveman is Trey Bloom, isn't it, Ryan? Talk to me. Yeah, we already messed up. It's week 1, BMAC.
Week 1 it is. Sitting 15th on the inside, you got number 1, Greg McDaniel, always a threat to win the race. And then sitting P16, the 09, Dave Matson.
Now, this is the easy nickname here on the inside of row 9, the 28 of Crisco, Robert Gorisco, to the top shelf, the 06 of Derek Paulson.
And P19, the 81 of Chris Bass, and sitting on his outside, the 39, Jeff Leiden.
Row 11 to the inside, the 3 of Christian Lushin, to the top shelf, the 11 of Tom Ogle.
P23, the 84 of Michael Watts, and P24, the 6 of Andy Thomas.
Row 13 to the inside, the 18 of Bill Martin, to the top shelf, the 47 of Andrew Kotska.
27th, the 59 of Sean Foltz, and P28, number 71 of Michael Everhart.
Row 14 to the inside, the 59 of Sean Foltz, to the top shelf, the 71 of Michael Everhart.
And P29, the number 93, Patrick Martindale. P30, the 43, Kelvin Masser.
I'm trying to move cameras around. At least we're doing these hiccups here on week 1. I'm so sorry about this. Row 16 to the inside, the 73 of Torrance Childs, to the top shelf, the 17 of Lucky Larry Corey.
And 33rd, always a threat to win the race, even from back here, the 7 of Dan Hill. And on his outside, the number 9 of Brian Lynch.
The 38 of Bob Fellenbaum lines up to the inside of row 18, to the top shelf, the 10 of the boss man, Victor Lane.
P37, the 95 of Fred Wolford, and P38, number 27 of Jack Jagerman.
Bruce Pearson lines up on the inside of row 20, to the top shelf, the 85 of Randy Schuler.
And P41, we've got a big field tonight, the number 16 of John Brown, and on his outside, the 07 of Rick Nitz.
Last year's Daytona 500 winner lines up on the inside of row 17, and the 42 to the top shelf, the 26 of Tom Embassy.
P45, the 20 of Matt Watkins. P46, the 74 of Alan Wanamaker.
John Hastings lines up on the inside of row, what are we doing math here, 24 to the top shelf, the 30 of Kevin Adams.
And the last row, the P49, the 21 of Luke Lane, and 56 of Nick Self. Let's get after it, fellas.
50 cars. This is absolutely what you want to see. Now let's see how long the green flag will fly. As the pace car pulls off to the inside, the green flag is high. Take a look to the Florida sky. We're about to watch the rubber fly. 90 laps to play at the Daytona International Speedway. And right away here, B-Mac, pretty, I would say, spaced out start. Guys being conservative here, especially towards the back. I like what I see.
Now, the gap opened up on the top side between the number 83 there. That's going to cause a problem on that top line, build momentum early. These cars need a couple of laps to get up to speed, so I would not be surprised to see that low line pull away a little bit here.
Now, B-Mac, it's something I'll learn throughout the year here, but, we used to see in the old Cup cars, if you could be in about 1.2 seconds, you were okay. You really weren't going to lose that draft. Is there a number here you want to watch on the relative if you're a driver tonight?
These cars are dangerous in terms of losing the draft because, again, they don't have a lot of power. They're pretty restricted. So if you drop from that draft, you're going to fall pretty quickly. So I'm scared if I'm anything under a second.
Interesting here. So drivers definitely don't want to fall too far back. I wonder if, the ones that have kind of tailed off towards the back, if it's maybe a thought, hey, we're going to have a caution flag, but, man, I don't expect it. I know, B-Mac, I'm going to throw you under the bus here. You expected a couple, but, man, I am not expecting any after what I saw last season.
I think just given the pure size of the field, you can see the field's already kind of starting to spread out. We're staying double file. So, but just so many cars on track, I think it's inevitable. But yeah, I'm happy to be called wrong on that. These guys are doing pretty well so far.
Now, it's something, we don't really have to talk about at other places here, Brian, but anytime we go restrictor plate racing, would you rather be that 83 at MacArthur right now, not plowing the air, just kind of being able to save a little bit of gas? I mean, even the 01 of Strandberg, me personally, this many laps to go, I never wanted to be that car out front, but hey, maybe MacArthur, he doesn't agree. Look, he pulls to the outside, not getting any help though. Now here comes some help. The 24 of Brian Lindsay. Brian couldn't get to him here. You were telling me, B-Mac, with the bumps here, you don't necessarily want to get that big shove. It's more about working that air bubble, right?
Absolutely. Once you get up underneath the car gets really unstable, and you add the bumps to that. When you try to push the car almost in front of you, almost always gets loose. So it's best just to get as close as you possibly can and ride kind of as close as possible, kind of like you see the 01 doing right there. But to answer your question, I've been, when I first started, I wanted to be in the back and kind of let the action unfold in front of me. But now, especially in these cars, I want to control the race as much as possible, because so much of this race is about building and keeping momentum and not getting stuck. If you lose track position and you're sitting P40, it's so hard to make it up because, again, the cars just don't draft as firmly as they did in the past. So I want to control the pace, lead the race if I can. That way, the cars are pitting when I want them to pit. So I'm kind of, throw caution to the wind in terms of fuel and trade that in for being able to control the race as best I can.
Now, B-Mac, you know a little bit more about it here, and I'm going to pick up more as the season rolls through. But right now, Dwayne MacArthur out front. I know you guys use a lot of TeamSpeak. You're all hanging out in the Discord so we can talk to you. But who is he talking to right now? Who is he trying to get on the same page with as well? We get our first yellow laundry of the season here on lap 5.
It's like he's a little bit deeper in the field.
We're trying to hunt around here.
Looks like the 21 got into the 32 there. They kept it together. It looks like just the 32 lost it right there. So not a whole lot of damage. He should be able to pick that back up and get going again. So should be a quick caution.
No, and I would say, what a job. You mentioned not a lot of damage. I don't know what he had to do there, but what little he did or didn't do was perfect there, B-Mac, because 9 times out of 10, he's having to hold escape and tow that thing back to the pits. What a job by John Hastings.
This goes to show, man, even when the car is wrecking, you're still driving it. And he was driving that the whole time.
Now, I don't want to...
Nice save right there.
I don't want to pull anyone down yet, unless they would have already went around. Can you confirm, B-Mac, would this be the first time if they'd want to come top off, or have they already gone around?
This should be their first time, and I'm coming in. I might even get a couple of tires right here. It's so hard when you're up front to lose that track position, but it's always nice to have that fuel and even those extra tires.
It's kind of the way I'm thinking. We'll see here what goes on if they pass pit road and don't shoot in. Maybe we'll pull a guy or two down for an interview, but I would expect it in busy pit road.
Looks like the 32 had to take a tow. He must have had a little more damage than we thought.
I wonder what could have happened there. Maybe something broke in the right rear. He did slap that. That's why I was pretty... I was surprised to see it rolling as straight as it did. And yeah, here comes the gang.
83 to 12. We're going to at least feint that way. Nope, they're staying out.
Okay, well, I'm doing the exact opposite. And who did come down pit road? Is that Ken Allen? I love that strategy here, B-Mac. You hope that this thing goes green from here, for a long time, and maybe put those guys a lap down here if you can time a good long green flag pits or run.
Yeah, on the other hand, we're 7 laps in, so I can also see the logic. It's again, when you're up front, especially with this many cars in the field, it's so hard to give up that track position. Looks like we're seeing the cars from about P20 on back. They're all taking us up on that offer though.
Let's see here. I'm going to pull the man in P3 down here to the booth. Kevin, Shaggy in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, hey, man, running around, you get P1, going out there, get quick time, and flirting around in third. Do you think this is the place to be? Just save a little fuel, hang out, save your stuff?
Yeah, I think so. I think this early in the race it's all about buying time and just keeping your nose clean and staying out of trouble. So I think staying up here is going to be the plan so far.
What do we got for him, B-Mac?
Well, Kevin, welcome to the league. First of all, tell us what it's like out there. I know this is the old version of Daytona. It's pretty bumpy. So what's it like in the draft right now?
The draft is pretty good. My car has a hard time kind of sucking up to it. As far as the track, I just commented, it's like driving a boat over the wake when you're coming out of the corners. It is just insanely bumpy and rough.
Now, I know he kind of asked you, about those bumps, and you mentioned momentum important. Is there a spot, the white flag flies? Do you have to be in X position to win this thing? Top 5, or, where are we thinking? Where do you have to be?
I would say top 5. I would be very surprised if the guy leading the white flag is going to win, but you know how these tracks are. So, yeah, hopefully we'll put on a good show, and the end will be pretty fun to watch.
Hey, that's what we want to hear, man. Should be getting ready to double up. Good luck, Kevin. We wish you the best. Hopefully we're talking to you at the end of this thing.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Keep up the good work, guys.
Appreciate it. Kevin Strandberg, you see there? He's going to pull down to the inside. Get in line. Now, B-Mac, if I remember right, we do not start on green, right? This isn't one of those leagues where he's got to wait. The leader gets to go anytime he's in that box, correct?
So I think this is the old version of Daytona, so I don't believe we are using the restart zone. We're going to find out here in just a second. But I know the other OBR leagues, we do use the restart zone, which will give the control to the 83. So we're going to see here in just a second.
Yeah, that's a good point. Man, you got me scratching my head here, because now when we go to, I guess it'll be Atlanta, that probably won't have the restart zone. Yeah, now you got me thinking. So we're going to have to game plan for that a little bit here. I'm going to have to do a little more homework and ask Victor and them where the restart line is for those races. I didn't even think about that at those legacy tracks.
And the jump's really important here because you don't want to get dropped and get left behind because, again, it's so hard for these cars to pull up next. So if you want to get up to that bumper and stay there and try to go in synchronization to get as much momentum as you possibly can.
Yeah, and at the same time, Brian, remember how important is it for here MacArthur to maybe not get too big of a jump? You don't want to leave too big of a gap between you and the cars behind you, because then they are going to be coming with a lot of momentum, and all of a sudden you find yourself maybe sandwiched in the middle 3 wide. So he's got to control this restart. I am so happy to be back in the glory days of racing, Brian. This is when it was good. Take me back.
The whole league is so excited about this. We all love these cars and love this type of racing. And as you know, this version of Daytona, aero matters and tires matters. It's just a whole different level of fun.
The green flag set the wave. We are back underway. Great restart there for those bottom two. I mean, Strandberg right on the bumper of that 83. I don't think Dwayne could ask for much better help than that there, B-Mac.
That's what you want to see. You want to see it right up to the bumper, but not not knocking into me. Just staying as close as you can. You'll see him suck back up here as the field starts to bunch up a little bit.
Yeah, and we had a little bit of a jumble. I don't want to jump too far back, but we do have about 3 separate groups now, a couple small packs. So a little bit of jumbling, and man, that's not what you want to see there, B-Mac, as we said before. I mean, you find yourself in the back, not going to get back up there, so you're going to need a lot of things to go your way. And right now, it's looking like maybe going to go their way. The pack racing a little more aggressive now, B-Mac, 2x2 almost as far as the eye can see.
Yeah, they're going to get after it right now. We're just getting a little bit more comfortable with the cars and traffic. They had a couple of laps to get on that first start. The cars are bunched up, so you're going to see them get aggressive here, I think.
Now with this car, and it being so momentum based and not really being able to shove a guy around somebody per se, do you expect as much 3 wide as maybe we would have saw last season, or do you think drivers will commit to maybe 2 lines, until the end, obviously, when it's absolute go time?
At this version of Daytona, I don't think you'll see a lot of 3 wide just because the lines are so unstable. The car's moving around so much, and so even maintaining 2 wide can be a challenge. So my thing about going 3 wide in these cars is I'm only going to go 3 wide if I have an exit. In other words, if I see a gap, I can take the gap and make the pass and get back to 2 wide. You do not want to try to hold 3 wide in these cars at this track.
Andrew Medlin trying to go hunt.
Big crash, trouble right there.
Oh, not the Mac Tonight machine.
We saw that happen right in front of us. Somebody got into the 18. The accordion back there. So now, second caution. What are we on lap? What lap are we on here? So this is be an interesting pit call. I think you'll see most of the field come in for gas at this point.
Yeah, and when we do,
cars got caught up in this one.
and you'll see BMAC here when we do get a look at this thing. The 18 gets shoved around there by the Mac Tonight machine, Scott Negus, and it was just kind of one of those situations you talked about. You don't want that bump. I mean, and if you are going to give the bump, not on corner entry, but there's a checkup, and it's just a big stack.
Yeah, it looks like it when the 18 got shoved down onto the apron, and once it becomes so hard to control the car once you get down on the apron. He did a good job of recovering it, but it sure fell apart behind him.
Yeah, unbelievable job there by Bill Martin. I mean, that for sure. That's one of the better saves I've ever seen, doing that at about 195 miles per hour. That may be worth maybe BMAC, we let him go down pit road here like all the guys will probably do. We may have to pull him up and talk to him. I mean, that's a wicked save.
Yeah, that was a good piece of driving right there for sure. All those cars just nowhere to go. That's such a helpless feeling.
Yeah, and I don't believe we mentioned this because it obviously didn't change from last seaon. I should have, shame on me. No quick repairs here, BMAC, so you
That's
run
correct.
what you brung.
That's right. And, man, you do not want to get damage on the cars at Daytona, not even a little bit, because this aero is so important here.
Now, okay, I want to, egg you on more with that here, BMAC, because you're talking about aero. Now, for a guy like me, how important is it? You wreck race one, you don't get frustrated. You stay out here and keep putting in laps, because remember, no more winning you're in. It matters. Every single point matters. So you got to keep plugging away till that car won't run anymore.
I was just thinking about that the other day because I do think it changes the game. And I like that. I like the idea that if you show up to race, you finish the race. And so I like the fact that matters now with this point structure.
Yeah, no surprise there. A couple cars in the back do come down pit road. And, well, if I'm Bill Martin and got sent down to the apron, I maybe come down and
I'm getting tired for sure.
Yeah, he maybe only got right sides because he's coming out here pretty quick. Didn't feel like he needed all four. Ryan, did I give you enough time? Can we pull him down? Bill Martin. Let's go ahead and grab the Mr. Hot Hands here. Brian, you can have the first question when he gets here.
Bill Martin. Hey, it's Brian McRae up here in the booth. You got a copy? You got a copy, Will?
Yeah, Bill, he may not have a copy. I see him. He's not going too fast on the apron. He may be figuring out why it's not working, but we'll let him go. Yeah, I mean, what a save. He can hear what we're saying. That's what matters. But all right, BMAC. Okay, so 2 early cautions. You're Dwayne MacArthur. You still haven't come down pit road yet. With these 2 cautions, can he get to, maybe lap 48, close to lap 50 and one stop this thing from here?
Man, you never know. I think it's going to be a challenge. I was actually surprised to see most of the top 20 stay out. So I think they must think they can do it in one. So it's going to be that's a heavy ask. I think even the tires are going to start to matter once you start to get that many laps on them.
Or I wonder, okay, let me play the other side of the coin here. I just thought of this, BMAC. What if they're thinking, okay, I stop now, still have to stop 2 more times anyway. Let's just say we're a little off. Are they maybe doing an advantage then by, pitting with, let's say, 4 or 5 laps to go if they think they're still going to be short, and having a real quick pit stop, just a real quick splash and go?
I want to control the race for as much as I can. So I'm going to try to stay out front for as much as I possibly can for as long as I can. So I think that's a solid strategy. It keeps you off the pit road. You're on pit road for a very short amount of time, and lets you control the pace and kind of control the race. Plus, I don't want to get mired back in traffic with 50 cars on the track.
No, most definitely not. Right now, I'm trying to take a peek. I believe we still have 45 cars on the lead lap.
The field's still intact.
Yes, that is unbelievable. I mean, even after that big wreck there, and I'm scrolling through looking at the cars in the back, you have some sick ones, but I mean, not too much damage, I wouldn't think here. Most of the people rolling, I mean, you stay in the draft here, B-Mac, everybody's still in it for a top 10.
That's right. That's one of the beautiful things about Daytona is anybody can come out here and win.
It's going to be one of those things too. You know, what can you do? Maybe you got a sick car here, but as we were talking about before that caution came out, when I was asking you about Dwayne and, you know, maybe a teammate he's looking to help, but it's always about, you know, maybe you can go out there, push that teammate to a win. Maybe you've got some front end damage. You're not going to be able to get there, but what do they say, B-Mac? What goes around comes around. You help a teammate, maybe they'll help you back next time we come here.
100%.
The drivers roll off of 4 here. Pace car should be getting ready to pull off, and you see all the drivers making it around, I think, and some of them timing it pretty well that I don't think they're going to have to worry about being stuck far behind. But take a look at that Florida sky, baby. The green flag is high. Let's watch the rubber fly. We're back underway at the Daytona International Speedway. Another big checkup there on the outside, B-Mac, and there's a big gap between rows 2 and 3.
Yeah, the inside line looks like they all fired off really well. They're pretty much nose to tail, but that outside line did get bogged down quite a bit again.
I believe that was 79 there, Lon Corey, who maybe just a little slow there getting through the gearbox, but seems to have momentum now. Now the problem is, if you're the 79, you're coming with a big run. Where do you go here, B-Mac? There's nowhere to go. You just got to back off and stay in line.
That's not unless you want to push it through wide, and I don't think I think you want to be doing that right now. It's a little too early. Looks like everybody's playing nice, letting the cars go up to speed, keep a solid distance from each other.
Yeah, that's what I was honestly looking at. It looks like we've got, you know, honestly, harder racing maybe towards the back because the middle of the field, I want to say around, you know, 30 through 40, they've kind of spread out single file, and those guys in the back, I think, are panicking. They don't want to lose that lead pack, but once again, lead pack kind of got away, and those guys going to have to play nice with each other here on the next restart. You see Corey on the bottom, Bill Martin, I mean, spin, still back up to almost where he started here, B-Mac, up to 26th. Also here, Nick Self came down pit road to serve a black, maybe passed somebody there before the starting line. Not too sure what happened there, Brian.
That's going to be a tough break. He's probably going to go a lot down here.
Yeah, at least, because, you know, you go the lap down, and then, well, when you get back out on the racetrack, you got no drafting help, and it seems like 15 to 20 laps, the guy's going to suck right on by you again, and that's something, you know, we haven't had to talk about, Brian, so far, but it's almost an art where if you're by yourself and a big group comes by you, they can go by you so quick that you don't get that draft, and, you know, they just keep going on by you, and it's the same thing again. How hard is it, you know, to kind of pull up close? You got to get side draft. You don't want to wreck that group, but you need to, at the same time, you know, self-preservation.
You know, in these cars with the lack of top end, the speed differential is so great that you really can't. I mean, it's when you're by yourself at a drafting track in these cars, it is a lonely feeling because you know you're just going to get passed over and over and over again. Unless you get lucky and hook up with some of the stragglers, it is just impossible to hold off a group of cars.
And I'm noticing I've got my eyes glued there on that 7. On the outside, cars are really getting squirrely already on the entrance when they're entering up top on those bumps, Brian. And I think some of these guys that we're watching have come down pit road already, which, man, it's got me on high alert for the leaders if they would get shoved to the outside. This track maybe going to bite some guys here who are used to the comfortability of the new Daytona.
Definitely, and I think it's that, you know, partially the aero, the cars get so unsettled, especially when they're in a big pack like this, and you couple that with the bumps and old tires, and the cars will become a handful. You see that the 38, the 39 there, just getting a little bit loose, coming off of the bottom of the turn there. Just it's already starting to happen.
Yeah, and the 33 seemed to follow suit and do the same thing, and I'm telling you, I knew it was going to be, different, and the cars were not going to behave as well as we were used to. But I really am shocked that, we've had 2 caution flags. We're only on lap 19, and the cars are already getting squirrely. What that tells me, Brian, these guys are going to have to use a lot of discipline here tonight. Maybe not full throttle like they're used to coming off the corners.
Not only that, you have to manage your momentum. It actually reminds me a lot of racing in Miata. You don't have a lot of power, so much about those cars is about maintaining your momentum through the corners, and it's actually very similar because, for whatever reason you miss a corner or lose the draft, you're going to go a lap down. And the guys up front, you don't see them beating and banking. They're trying to maintain momentum, keep the cars in a straight line, which is really hard because the air is moving the cars all over the place, even all by itself. So it's going to be the guys who can stay smooth, who can keep a consistent distance from the car in front of them without pushing them. Those are going to be the guys you're going to see at the front of the pack.
Do you think that's why we're seeing the leaders, the front 5, single file, why they're not hugging that yellow line? Is it just easier to kind of be smooth and avoid some of the bumps there, in the middle of the racetrack? Oh, we got a car around.
79 around into 39 and a few of the cars too.
Oh, boy, a lot of cars, though, going down to the infield grass. And what could have been a lot worse, BMAC, looks to have involved maybe 6 or 7 cars. But, boy, that could have been 20 cars in a real big hurry.
Sure could have, no question about that. Doesn't look like anybody got a whole bunch of too bad of damage. See what happened there.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. It looked like that 4 had a pretty big shot, and this is going to be a pretty nice one, too, I think, here. Oh.
Yeah, the 93 there.
Man, that is a tough break. It can be going so well, VMAC, and in a hurry here
at
Daytona.
Look, can you wind that back just a little bit? That was a really hard hit between the 1 and the 79 there. See if we can figure out what happened. Looks like the 00 might have gotten into the back of the 79 and shoved him down there. Yep, that's what happened. Oh, man, that's tough. That is such a helpless feeling.
Yeah, and then you see the rear end get lifted off the ground there.
These cars,
man.
Even holding the cars in a straight line, the air just moves them around so much. And so it's not, it doesn't take much for, the cars to move slightly offline. And before you know it, you're hitting the corner of the bumper.
No, and that's where you mentioned, I believe that was Lloyd Moore who, kind of gave him the bumper. And there's nothing intentional about that at all. It just kind of happened so fast. And you got to think, did he maybe think, as you were mentioning, the car's bouncing around. I mean, 79 kind of up the hill a little bit. Did he maybe think, hey, he's, had his time up at the front trying to get out of the way, just cycle to the back, and Lloyd just sees the gap close so fast that, when you're hammered down through the tri-oval, can't really expect the guy to do anything different than what he did there. But, we've been surprised all night here with the leaders not coming down pit road. Do they do it this time, BMAC?
Yeah, I think I would think so, but I've been wrong the whole race, so it's hard to make a guess here. But 22 laps, it's a pretty good segment of the race, so it wouldn't surprise me to see that everybody coming down here now.
And it looks like we are getting our wish, full field coming down pit road.
Be interesting to see who takes tires and who doesn't here.
Bill Martin staying out here. So remember, he was spun 2 cautions ago, and now he'll get to see what he's got up at the front of the field here.
Yeah, it looks like most of the top 20 came down. Probably just about everybody who hasn't pitted yet, I would imagine, came down.
Yeah, and you will notice tonight, you can see some of the guys sharing a pit stall. Well, when, we got 50 guys. They're only 43, so we got to do what we can here, saving a little space. Some guys, that didn't pay the full month's OBRL rent, they got to share pit stalls this week.
That's a great problem to have. It's such a pleasure to see 50 cars out here. The league has been so excited to kick the season off like we are every season, but to see 50 cars out here to kick out to lead us off is really wonderful.
Now we got Bill Martin, Dave Mattson, and Brian Lynch. None of the drivers in the top 3 right now started inside of the top 10. So what does that tell you about qualifying at Daytona, BMAC? Is it very important?
You know, I mean, I would prefer to stay up front, but you can work your way to the front here, and it's through, you know, smart pits and strategy a lot of times, because when you're running, you know, when you're running on the racetrack under green, you run just 2 lines. It's a lot harder to pass. So if you can find creative ways to pass under yellow or in the pits, you definitely take a chance.
And that being said, Dwayne MacArthur, you know, he was leading with the pit stop, only falls back to 4th. You got to think he's in a situation right now, Brian, where he runs this thing till it's dang near empty. And, you know, one more stop for the 83 should get him home.
Absolutely. Yeah, they didn't lose much track position at all by pitting when they did. So.
And we'll do another lap around here. I believe that's a car on the lap down side of things. No, that's Brian Lynch. Coming down pit road doing his own thing here. Now, I could be wrong, but I thought if you don't go around that first time, he may get a black flag tail end penalty, because I think if you don't come down that first time, pit roads are closed. I'm surprised to see that 9 duck down pit road.
He might have snuck in there right before the pits closed, before the pace car crossed the start-finish lines.
Ah, there we go. See, you know the tips and tricks of the trade. That's my problem. All right, so Dave Matson, he had an up and down year last season. Couldn't really, you know, get one to stick. He'd be up near the top 5, inside the top 10 regularly, but just had trouble with the tire wear last season. And now restrictor plate racing shouldn't be too much of an issue. He's got a chance here. Got 2 winners. Man, that row 2, BMAC. Wow, that was an active row last season.
Yeah, no joke. And man, you know, this is a situation where any of these guys can win the race. And this is the great thing about Daytona is you come out here and you always have a chance to win. So that's why it's going to make it everybody run that much more aggressive and try to go out and win this thing.
Yeah, Bill Martin, until he proves us different. You know, if we talk to you, try to pull you up, maybe you should pretend that your microphone's broke, because that got him to P1. I mean, what a move here by Bill Martin, taking lemons and absolutely making a killer glass of lemonade. I mean, getting spun out, having to come down pit road and just timing this thing to get back to the front. You can't ask for much more than that.
Yeah, Bill's a savvy restrictor plate racer across the board. He's great in the draft and always makes smart decisions, so it's not surprising to see him up front.
See what kind of restart he can get here as we roll off of 4. Green flag set to fly. This time by will be on lap number 25 here. The general not real tight up against Bill Martin. If I'm Bill, I don't like that here. You want him to be a little tighter as the green flag waves. We're underway, and Dwayne says, "Be quiet, Shaggy. I knew what I was doing." What a jump. Good job there for Dwayne, tightening up. Now the outside, they've got a little bit of gap between them here, Brian. They've got to tighten up quick.
Yeah, they're starting to figure it out. You see those gaps closing up a little bit sooner, so I think every restart they're learning their timing a little bit better, getting a little bit more efficient each go.
I am still seeing, and it's obviously something, you know, that we've grown accustomed to, really, asphalt racing. It does seem like, though, this opening lap, BMAC, if we would have a green-white checkered, inside line looking like the place to be.
Yeah, so far the outside line falls off early in the run. Right now it looks like they're 3 cars back, so it's been that way pretty much from the start of the race.
Now I know it's still early here, but I gotta, you know, try to come up with something here, BMAC. If you're Roger Hurley, are you maybe playing the game here? You know, do you try to get to the lead from 3rd? You experiment, you know, you try to test a couple things out here for a late race run. I mean, no really other time to do it. No guys are running this hard in practice, and no time to really practice those moves other than here in race trim.
You know that it's tough, because you're right. You do want to be able to see where you can pass, where the opportunities are. But man, if you stick your nose out of line and you lose momentum, you're going to drop back to 25th. So it's a little bit of cat and mouse here. I think that's why we've seen, you know, the front of the field 1 through 10. They've been pretty conservative. They're keeping a pretty consistent distance from one another because they've got good track position. And honestly, that's making them faster, because you're not fighting the wheel, not fighting each other in these cars that are, you know, going 2 or 3 wide back here.
Last year's defending Daytona 500 winner, Mark Fish. He's just, I like where he's at right now, B-Mac. I really do. The right tail end of the front lead pack. If you ever get into an official iRacing room with me here at Daytona, that's where I'm going to be till there's about 20 laps to go. I just like to, get guys when I have to, but just make sure I keep that front pack, man. I can still sniff what the leader's doing.
Yeah, as long as you can, stay with that front pack, you can be in good shape. You can make move through the field when it matters. I'm with you on that. It's always nice to be able to respond and react rather than set the tone, and you also have the added advantage of being able to save a whole lot of fuel back there.
Yeah, that's where I like to come into play, and maybe have that buddy right back there with you. You try to go that lap or two longer, and well, Brian, I haven't really had the chance in this car. I want to say with the old ones, what a dream lineup was about 4 to 5 cars. Is there a certain number of guys we need to pit with here tonight, like maybe a 3-4 minimum, or can you get away with 2?
I think you have to have 4. If you're going to maximize your exit and be able to maintain solid race pace, you need a solid 4 who are going to stay together to be able to stay fast. I'm going to caution out.
Yep, caution flag waves, and it's that Make It a Mac Tonight machine. He gets
into the wall there.
Yeah, he gets a shot there from, I believe, Lloyd Moore. But once again, Lloyd just kind of tail in the end. It starts up in front. I want to say...
yeah, it was a big checkup and accordion all the way to the end there. Lloyd's having himself a tough night.
Yeah, Brian Lynch gets a big run here. And, Brian, can you click on that last replay and go in Brian's car? Because obviously he didn't do anything wrong here, but it's just interesting to see with these noses in the Gen 4 car here, Brian. Exactly what you talked about. He's going to lift the rear end of Ken Allen up there. That's what sent him down the racetrack.
It takes so little to get the wheels off the ground. Either that or to move the car, and if you move the car, you're losing momentum and checking up the field like that. It's so easy to do that here.
See, that's what, when we think of Daytona, you think, I can almost get it done from anywhere. And that's why I was asking earlier, do you think we need to be in the top 5? Brian, I'm thinking that more than ever now after what I just saw. There comes a point here where I do think, people are going to start to run out of patience early, because with this race car, it doesn't seem like, if we restart with maybe 10 laps to go, you're going to need a lot of stuff to go your way to move from P20 without being able to, kind of shove your way through.
That's what's going to make it really challenging to be deep in the field late in the race, and it's going to be. I think you're going to see a lot of people mix it up, but that's actually going to make them go a lot slower. So, it goes back to one of the reasons I like to be up front and control the pace, because if you're up front, you're always in the top 5, and you said it. You really have to be in the top 5 in order to have a legitimate shot to win the race at the end.
Well, let's talk to someone who is new to me. Now, I'm going to assume. I'll pull him down here, Ryan. He can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to assume it's Jaegerman. Jack, this is Shaggy in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do, man. How you doing?
Did I pronounce the last name right first? Jaegerman?
Yes, Jaegerman's correct.
Oh, boy, I got lucky. I never get that right on the first time. I'll tell you, man, first time I've seen you out here, you got that Circuit City machine inside of the top 5, brother. You think you got a hot rod? Can we go win this thing?
Well, we're definitely going to try for Team VLS.
What do you got for him, B-Mac? Anything?
Scott, we were just talking a lot about maintaining track position and how we like to be up front. You're sitting P5 right now. We think that's a pretty solid spot to be in. But what's your goal here in terms of staying up front or working back in the middle of the pack?
Yeah, I'd prefer to stay up in the front part of the pack. We've had some problems, and it's pretty easy to lose the draft in these cars too. So if I can hold in this position until late in the race, that'd be great, and then we'll see what happens from there.
Let me bug you with one more thing before we send you back, Jack. I should have done a little better homework. How long are we getting on a full tank of gas?
That I have no idea, to be honest, just because I have lost track considering the cautions we've had. So right now I'm kind of just winging it.
Do you think from here, after that last stop, though, can we one-stop this thing, do we think?
I think it is a one stop from here. I do.
All right, well, go get him, Jack. We wish you the best of luck, brother.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a good night.
Sitting outside of the top 3, up 34 spots there, B-Mac. I mean, boy, oh boy, 38th up to 4th in 31 laps. Pretty good run so far.
Yeah, that's a clean. He's got a clean race car too. There's not a mark on that thing, so that's a good piece of driving right there.
Now we'll have to see if he can maybe reverse the fortunes of that outside line. Him and Roger Hurley need to hook up and get that thing going. We've seen it struggle here on the opening out lap, and well, B-Mac's still a long way to go here. We're not even a third of the way through, so plenty of time here. We're still going to see a bunch of strategy play out.
I think we're still going to see that long green flag run and maybe even some green flag pit stop. So once we get this field kind of sorted out, we do have a lot of racing left.
And Scott Negus, I think the car had a little bit too much damage. I saw on the bottom of my screen there, he disconnected, so not going to get any better for Scott. He calls it a night. And what are we? We're still got 45 cars on the lead lap. Yeah, because Kelvin Mosier tightened up here.
That's outstanding. So let's see if that top line bunches up. They left a gap. We kind of see they're kind of leaving a gap right there between 4th and 6th. They need to start kind of tightening that line up from the get-go there.
Yeah, I mean, a little inside baseball there, B-Mac, but what is more frustrating, when you're sitting in, about row 7 and you could see that you could park a couple tractor trailers in front of you. You think, you're one of the quickest cars on the racetrack, and you're like, what are these guys doing, man? They're preventing me from getting up there to the front. I hate that feeling when you're marred back there in traffic. That's the worst.
It's when you wish you had a horn,
Oh, no kidding. You'd be blaring on that thing, man.
Leaning on it, man.
Oh, that would be so fun. iRacing had a horn. As we look to that Florida sky, the green flag is high. We are back underway, lap 32 at the Daytona International Speedway. And once again, outside line just not bunched up like those bottom 2. And if they could tighten up here quick, there's a big gap between rows 2 and 3 on the bottom. But Matson, he heard me. He's tightening back up real quick, and I think the bottom line going to start rolling.
Yeah, they got it together pretty quick right there. So it feels pretty tight. It looks like the top 20 pretty much nose to tail, so they're starting to figure out that restart getting a little bit smoother every time. And Jagerman, 27, getting a good push on the outside there.
And absolutely opened it up there. That is a big move there for the 27, showing you can shove. Maybe if you do it the right way. And, I mean, the gaps on the bottom line here, B-Mac, that's not looking good. MacArthur, he likes where he's at, but, man, if that guy can't get to you, you feel so helpless.
There's just not much you can do other than get swallowed up by the field and try to pick the momentum back up. I like what the 27 is doing there. He's getting really close to the 77, but he's not touching him, not losing momentum. And if you can do that, if you can get close like that and maintain that distance, you will be fast. And you see that top line starting to overtake there.
Yeah, and we keep giving credit, to that second car, but I think, B-Mac, we both know sometimes that unsung hero is that third car in line where, they need to get real close to that middle car as well. And, they're under a little more stress. One lift, one little checkup from that guy in front of you, they're going to run over 2 guys. So that can be nerve-wracking sometimes, being that third, fourth car in line.
But you do need it. You have to have that third and fourth car in order to maintain any kind of speed. So you can see there's a little bit of gap opening up right there, which may be one of the reasons why that top line kind of stalled out. But it is harrowing to be that third and fourth car back there because you are so dependent on the field. So you're trying to pay attention to checkups on one hand, but also trying to maintain a really close distance on the other. It's a great push there from the 14. It looks like patience is out the window. These cars are starting to get squirrely. They're starting to get a little bit closer and starting to move the field around a little bit.
Yeah, you've got to be happy, though, if, you're jacked up top, because he has pushed Hurley to, quote-unquote, the lead twice here, B-Mac. And Hurley has not left him up there. He is staying up there. He is staying true to the outside. I mean, I've counted at least twice, and we're maybe going to see it again here going down the backstretch, where if Hurley wants to, he can shut that door. It all depends how hard that 27 wants to push him here as he gets the run one more time.
Well, Roger's a really smooth driver, and so that's actually a real big benefit here at Daytona on the outside. If you can be smooth and hold momentum, you can be really, really fast up there. And so Roger's really good at holding that straight line, giving the 27 a good target. So if you can get 2 or 3 cars lined up top, that top line is actually really fast and can be faster than the bottom.
That's what we saw last year with the Cup car, and I know I like running the trucks. You see that with the trucks. If you can get 4 or 5 fast guys lined up nose to tail on the outside right against the wall, I mean, that seems like it's the place to be. But then again, you know, I'm running on the new Daytona, way less bumps. You got to think it comes with a lot more risk here.
Yeah, what he's doing is he's riding right below that white line. That's actually probably one of the smoothest parts on the racetrack here at Old Daytona. It's a little bit longer way around the track because you're on the outside, but the bumps don't seem to be as bad, and you're also not opening and closing the wheel up as much there too, so you're holding the wheel straighter. But that section of the track that he's on is the smoothest of a very, very bumpy surface.
Really, he is way clear. Continues to stay to the outside. Now, if Jagerman can get clear, going to be interesting. Does he want to go to the inside and try to lead this thing? He does. He shoots to the inside right away. Jack Jagerman looking for the lead. He's got it as they roll into one. Now, Ken Hammond pushed the way the 27 was, because I'll tell you what, Jagerman's somebody, I would want that guy's number here, B-Mac. Those shoves were great, and I would want to be working with that guy here late in the race.
You can bet that you made a note, and everybody's making notes of what happened. Everybody's looking for that. We'll be looking for that red 27 at the end, and that was a great move by Jagerman. You know, dropping in front of the general is never going to be a bad idea because Dwayne's such a great pusher. So if you slide up in front of him, it's pretty likely that you're going to be able to stay up front.
No, and you got to wonder, you know, was that almost one of those little teasers for what we can see late in the race? Just trying to experiment. Will this work? You know, maybe not so worried about leading lap 37. That one's not going to pay the bills. But it is maybe, you know, going to go in the memory bank here. And he didn't have him at the line. So remember that one. That's also going to be important here, B-Mac. The top side has had it over and over again here coming to the line.
Yeah, that's important to remember. That top side, that might be where you want to be on the white flag. And if one of the things I love about Daytona is that anybody can win this race and anybody can lead the race. So a lot of times you got guys up front who we're not used to seeing up front or not used to leading races. And if I'm one of those guys, I'm going to take any opportunity I can to get to the front, even if I could just lead a lap. That's one of the great things about Daytona.
It's going to be interesting to see too, you know, as the clock starts to run out and the fuel load burns off, guys. We'll continue to run double file here, B-Mac, but I think the gaps in between the race cars will start to, you know, shrink up a little bit. We'll see guys using a lot more side draft. How do we expect that to make the cars handle here as, you know, they burn some fuel off?
Well, they are so aero sensitive anyway, and you know, you can side draft here, but the car has the back end has a tendency to get really loose and unexpectedly in the side draft, so it's a risk reward.
Lap car pulls out of the way, and well, going down pit road here, maybe not happy with what they were driving, definitely not going to link up here, but Jagerman does lead that lap. MacArthur used one there, gets to the outside with a big run. Now he's up front, and looky that, he's bringing along a couple. Hurley be clear if he wants to. Can Hammond get clear? He's got a little help off the nose, but I think he's hanging out a little too high. There he goes, tucks it back down. Now we got 3 cars by on the outside. And he shoots to the inside here, B-Mac. Now the 88 looking for it.
The 83 went to school and saw the 27 on that outside and decided he wanted to give that a shot too.
And you mentioned, I mean, Roger Hurley, he's been one of the smoothest cars we've seen on the racetrack in that 77. What better guy behind you on the top side than him? I mean, those two are going to be tough to get around here as we're on lap 41.
Yeah, that's a good hookup, especially on the top side.
we've had a little contact, a little mishaps in the back, and there definitely are guys coming down pit road. B-Mac, I'm going to do a quick little rewind here and see if I can figure out anything that happened. Yeah. Truthfully, I'm not seeing. Oh, okay. I actually just found it. I need to rewind again, and it's going through the tri-oval.
I was surprised that's not wasn't a caution.
Yeah, that probably should have been a caution there. Jonathan Brown and Torrance Childs. That was a pretty big shot there. Larry Corey got a big piece of it. And yeah, Jonathan Brown spun out down there to the infield. That's a tough break. And well, sometimes you got to wonder, what is that flag man on here, B-Mac? I mean, how does he miss that? That was going right in front of him.
Right in front of him. So I think was one of the things we talked about when the race started was just the separation. You know, we've seen some attrition, we've seen some accidents, we've seen some cars take some damage, and now you've got this top group of 20 cars that are going to stay together. And this is when you're going to see that long green flag run. Field shorter, field smaller. You've got the fast guys, the guys who know how to be fast here, and I wouldn't be surprised at all to see us stretch out some laps.
No, but as you mentioned, the people, back behind in Group 2, they're kind of holding on to the fact that you mentioned there are still 20 cars in the lead group. So we definitely aren't safe yet. One misstep, one mumble here, that could take out a couple guys and bring a caution flag. But B-Mac, those guys 22nd and back. I mean, the Double Deuce, Bruce Pearson, I'm looking at the leaderboard there, 8 seconds behind. They need a lot of help.
They need a caution, it looks like, too. I mean, even they're single file. They've got, 6 cars in that group, so they can be pretty quick, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them start slicing and dicing. Oh, it looks like we got the 24 round. Big hit from the 81 and the 7.
Yeah, so Greg McDaniel, he gets kind of clipped in the right rear. We'll see this when we go back. He gets clipped by the 24 in the right rear. He kind of gets sent down to the apron. There you'll see he's in the grass. And the 24, he doesn't know if he's going to come up. And the 7 here comes and, makes it 4 wide. Guys run out of room. The 24 trying to move up here, thinks McDaniel's going to come back up on the racetrack. And you can see there, B-Mac, they just run out of real estate there up top.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. It's wrong place, wrong time for the 7 right there. I'm sure he wasn't trying to stuff it in there. He was just trying to check up. But it's hard enough to maintain these cars 2 wide, 4 wide's probably just never going to work.
No, and you got to think, I mean, this time by will be on lap 45 when they roll around again. So right at that halfway point, I would expect a lot of drivers here to come down pit road and use another. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen really, Brian, now that I think about it, anyone, I don't think, take all 4 tires. I mean, you couldn't stop me from taking all 4 here at the halfway point. Yeah. Not with the way cars are sliding around.
But then, so many guys are going to take 2. You're going to lose so much track position. So it's a tough call.
I would just be so nervous. I mean, because it's stuff that we're used to. Like, obviously, the 24, that bump there, there's a checkup. There's nothing malicious. And it's just, the car's not reacting the way, we're so used to. They're so much more sensitive to those shots that I think I would want all the rubber underneath me I could to try to save something like that from happening to me. But that's just the nerves talking. But it looks like everybody is coming down pit road here for the most part.
Yeah, the trick is that the tire wear on the left sides isn't that much. It's that's the temptation, right? The tires are barely worn, so why am I going to spend the time to put those 2 new ones on there? But you're also right. It does affect the handling, especially early in the run. And so if you're the one guy who gets 4, that might give you just enough speed there at the end to pass the field.
Yeah, that's kind of the camp I was into and the strategy I was going with. If you get 4 now, you're all good. Guaranteed for 2 later. So I would have just put myself in what I felt was the best chance, but some guys just coming in, topping off one more time. I'm seeing a lot of 8-second pit stops, some 10-second pit stops. So definitely first guy there, Lushin, with a 15-second pit stop. That's the only guy I'd be thinking took 4 tires.
Pit road's a busy place, man. 50 cars. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. They were 3 wide all the way down pit road.
Yeah, and you know as well as I do. I mean, they do help us out a little bit. You know, I think whenever we get to within 4 or 5 pit stalls, you can kind of swerve within one another. But you got to watch out. I mean, you can suffer some race-ending damage down there on pit road. I mean, not per se that, you know, you can't get a top 10, but if you damage that nose, Brian, under pit road like a dummy, I mean, you could cost yourself a chance at a win.
Yeah, you can't have any damage on the car and run up front. The pit road is definitely not the place to do it.
And now, okay, boy, oh boy, I mean, I almost had a flashback here, B-Mac. I mean, look at that top 5. I mean, if that doesn't have 2025, other than Hammond, you know, we'll just say top 4, no offense, Hammond. But that was regularly there in 2025 last season. MacArthur, Essery, Mr. Tom Ogle back inside the top 3. Andrew Kotska, the guy who took the league by storm last season. I mean, here we go. It's the halfway point there. They're ready to race now.
You know, the cream rises to the top. That's one of the great things about racing this league. It's, you know, we all race together, all run together, and these guys are the best of the league. And so it's not surprising to see them all bunched up leading the race here.
It is crazy too when I look at Tom Ogle's car. You know, I mean, I'm happy for him, B-Mac. I really am. But you know, we go from an alcoholic beverage to a child's drink. I mean, that's quite the, you know, the step. Is he, you know, maybe trying to sober up a little bit, get off the White Claws? You got any inside information?
I have no idea. He might be trying to release his inner child. I'm not sure. It's a good-looking car, though. Oh, yeah, I see a vodka seltzer sign over there too. So yeah, I think he's still hitting the sauce.
That's what I was gonna say. I had a brain error, boys. I worked at the liquor store in Pennsylvania for a couple years, and they do have a Sunny Delight vodka seltzer, and that's exactly what it is. You can see it there zoomed in on the side. So no, here I thought he was sobering up, but he's changing the flavor a little bit.
That sounds terrible. Also.
Good for Tom, though, because let's be honest, B-Mac, nobody likes a quitter. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Nobody, I mean, there is no reason to quit something you're good at.
Got to commit.
Amen, brother. Go 110%. That's exactly what I expect to see Tom do here. I mean, him and Dwayne, they're buddies here. Are they teammates? Are they teammates?
They're not. Tom is on Team Miata, and Dwayne is LDS. They are very much competitors. They're a lot of fun on the Discord channel too.
I would say now, while they're competitive, though, very respectful. I mean, they run each other. I mean, I've seen them put on some great shows side by side, and I would be shocked here if we didn't get a little more of that, because I don't know if Tom necessarily wants to help Dwayne, but he sure would like to get around him here as the pace car pulls off. We take a look back to the sky. The green flag is high. The boys let the rubber fly. We're back underway at the Daytona International Speedway. Pretty good restart there until once again that row 3. What is it about row 3, B-Mac?
The whole race, but every single restart, I think.
Do you think it's possibly the view? Maybe they just don't have the good view, you know, can't see the leader fire and then have to wait for the car in front. Do you think it's just a tricky spot to restart in?
Could be. It's got to be something like that, because it's been every single restart so far.
We wasted no time too getting off to the outside. I'm surprised after what we saw the 27 do on the top shelf earlier. Cycles right down to the bottom to get behind the 88. Meanwhile, Tom Ogle, he's pushed MacArthur to a bit of a gap. Does he decide to go play around on the high side? Does he just bide his time, wait in line? Oh, almost had a big move to shut the door on the top shelf, but Hammond wised up there. B-Mac got back in line. I don't think he wanted a bump yet.
No, not yet. I don't think he realized that he was sitting right beside him there. That top line is starting to gain a little bit more momentum.
Yeah, Double E got the ponies galloping on the outside. That 37 starting to roll. It's got Andrew Kotska coming up behind him in the 47. I haven't really seen Kotska flex his muscles on the restrictor plates yet in the past, but I mean, he's good anywhere he goes, and it is showing right there. It gives him a big shove as they enter 3, and he is carrying that momentum, Brian. He may lead this lap. It is going to be close.
Yeah, carrying that top side like that, you can carry a lot of speed up there, and if you've got a couple of fast guys together, you can bring momentum to get past that low side.
And Eddie Jones, I believe, in the 14. We've got him as the Raging Cajun. Nickname he goes by. So if I, just slip up and call him the Raging Cajun a couple times this season, that is who I'm talking about, the 14 of Eddie Jones. He's doing a good job there of being that third car in line, B-Mac. If you saw what I just saw, he had the chance to be aggressive, shoot down to the bottom, maybe battle for the lead, but he said, nope, I'm fine right where I am.
Yeah, stay up top and help him keep the momentum going. You have the same situation where you have the 37. Eric is another really smooth driver. He's great on tires, and so he's another guy who can hold that top line and hold the speed through the corners. So it's not a been having Kotska right behind you. Not a bad guy to have pushed you. So that's a good combination. I would expect that top line to stay competitive here.
No, I really do mean this here, Brian, because I don't know the answer. Sometimes, I'll throw up the softball questions that I know the answer to, but is there anything really we can do to save tires here at Daytona? I mean, I've always just kind of, kept it pinned as much as I could, maybe feather it when I need to, but I mean, this place sometimes, demands a little input, especially with the bumps. Is there anything that you can do behind the wheel to try to make the life of the tires last a little longer here?
Not in a conventional sense, not like we can save tires at other racetracks, but I do think it's all about the amount of wheel that you have in on the corner exit. That's when the car starts to get loose, when the tire's wearing, especially coming off of 3 and 4. And so I try to hold the wheel open a little bit more and open the wheel up a little bit sooner on corner exit. But that's as much about just managing what happens when the tires wear as it is to try to save tires.
Man, look, the inside line is dying here, B-Mac. MacArthur, he's had enough. He goes to the outside. Tom Ogle going to stay down there and try to give it a shot. But man, oh man, the bottom line, they're going to need CPR, and they may have just got it in the form of a caution flag. We got another one here at Daytona, 6th caution flag of the night. The 07 of Rick Nitz here. Let's see what happened to Rick. Just another, I mean, that's every wreck we've seen tonight, B-Mac, where there's just a checkup 3 or 4 cars ahead, and, you don't always get that memo in time. Sometimes your, phone, it's off the ringer, you don't get the call, and, I mean, it's going to happen. Once again, I hate to sound like the broken record, but 200 miles an hour, Brian, it's going to happen.
It looked like he looks like he may have gotten a little bit tight rather than get loose, and that may have been why he checked up here.
Yeah, I'm wondering if so it's almost like he got under the nose and he checks up, maybe drags the brake a little bit, and, that can tighten up the car, and, oh, man, just no time to react behind, goes around, and once again, a couple cars involved there at the end who were just kind of straggling, weren't able to avoid it. But we're getting down to that time where I think it's got to be interesting, looking at the fuel gauge. What if you'd pit here? What are we thinking? 38 to go?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
And I mean, I don't want to be that guy here, B-Mac, but if you're smart, you got to factor in another caution here, right? I mean, you got to think we're probably not going the rest of the way, green flag. So if you think you're close, maybe you want to risk it here.
Yeah, it's interesting. We're getting to this point of the race now where we're seeing a lot of cars, a lot of attrition, a lot of accidents, and so the more we see, the shorter the field gets, the smaller the field gets, the more I would expect us to stay green. But I've been saying that the whole race, and here we are with 6 cautions, so you never know here at Daytona.
Yeah, and I brought down a man we talked to a lot last season, Mr. Andrew Kotska. Shaggy in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
We're out front right now, but obviously I don't think that fuel gauge, going to like what you did here. Were we not within the number? Could we not have made it the rest of the way?
No, I was looking like I was still going to be a couple gallons short there, even if I topped up, so might as well stick it out, and hopefully we can get a green run here to the end.
Now, I'll throw it to BMAC here next, Kotska, but I got one more question for you. I asked before, when we take the white flag lap, this car seems so much more momentum-based than the one we ran last year. is there a spot you got to be in to have a chance to win? You know, can you get it done from as far as 5th? Do we need to be further up when the white flag flies?
I honestly have no idea. This is my first race in this car. I'm hoping that I can get some good runs and probably somewhere in the top 3, top 4. Should probably have a good shot at getting a win here.
Hey, Andrew, tell us about running the top side. We saw you running the top there and giving a pretty good push up there. We've seen that line be faster in terms of speed, but not carry quite as much momentum sometimes. So what's it like up there right now?
Oh, it's pretty bumpy. It's a pretty tight line up there, and you can pretty much get almost into the wall if you're not careful up there. I think I'd rather be on the bottom, but just like any of the other cars here, it feels like you need to have 3 good people working together to get some good speed going around here.
Well, hey, Andrew, you're going to get to drop the hammer here with about 36 to go or so. Good luck the rest of the way. Hopefully we talk to you at the end of the show.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
I'm glad he said it sounded good, because that did not sound good to me. I was stepping all over my own tongue there as we get the 1 to green this time by, and Eddie Jones on the outside, the man we just spoke to, will lead us to the green flag on the inside in that 47. Andrew Medlin, we haven't talked about him much this race here. He finds himself now inside the top 3. Here we go. I mean, he had fell back early on, and got back up here.
Got some fresh faces up front here. Like Christian Lotion's up front. We haven't seen him very much up so far this race.
Speaking of fresh faces here, B-Mac, I'm throwing you under the bus again here, because you're just a man with a little more knowledge around me. Now, there's some names that we didn't see so much in here last season. Is there a guy, maybe 2, that you would say, hey, you should learn about this guy real quick?
I think there's a couple. I think Kevin Strandberg, certainly. He's come back to the league, but he's very, very skilled driver. The other one is the 06 of Derek Paulson with Top Flight Computers. He's new to the league. Started driving with us about, middle of last season, but he is a race winner and a championship winner from some other leagues, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him up front too.
Hopefully you can get that 06 up towards the front. I think he got a little bit of damage in one of those, but not too much that, won't be able to hang around at the end. But Andrew Kotska looking to do what he did so many times last season, lead the field to the green. Well, I shouldn't say so many times last season. I've got to be honest with you, 6 cautions here tonight. We are probably flirting with about a third of what we had last season, maybe a quarter. Those guys did not have many green flag restarts, but on the few, Andrew Kotsko or Josh Robinson, maybe Dwayne MacArthur sprinkled in, were probably at the front of that restart as the green flag waves. We are back underway. A little more of an even start there this time for the front 2 rows, but once again, that tricky spot outside of row 3, V-Mac.
Yeah, it opened up not quite as far as it did last time. I think the 83 actually got a pretty good push on the 15 there, but they're bringing it back together coming off of turn 2, and those fields are lining up pretty almost in a straight line there.
Now, I know Andrew said he felt comfortable with the bottom, but you know as well as I do, B-Mac, I'm a dirt racer. What's comfortable isn't always fast. How important is it? Does Kotska need to get, car 2 behind him and get to the outside? Right now, he's content with being on the bottom, but that outside is coming in a hurry.
And you can, on the outside especially, it's you can pinch the car on the inside down, especially on a corner exit, and make them wrap that corner even more, and it cuts off so much speed. And we're not seeing that happen right now. It's a little bit too early in the race, but on the low side, you're definitely susceptible. And then there's also running into the apron. The cars are super sensitive to that elevation change on the apron. It's real easy to dip a tire under there, and if you do that, you're going around.
Eddie Jones and MacArthur continue to try to get that outside rolling, but right now Lushin just not as close as they'd like him to be. Neither is the 88 on the bottom. That third car, as I've mentioned, now Hammond gets a little closer. You'll see that inside start to come back. There we go. You see the leader get his momentum back. It's all about that third car. That is what B-Mac and I have been trying to explain. And if Lushin backs off a little too far, or if Hammond backs off a little too far, we're going to see either of those lines stall out here. Those guys, I don't think in the moment, B-Mac, you really understand the power you have in that third spot. It is oh so important. I know we talked about it earlier, but man, we're seeing it now. I mean, they're lushing, kind of backs off again. Now the inside line going to come back, and it's such an important role.
And it takes a different kind of confidence to be able to put your front bumper back close and not have as much control over the checkup in front of you, or be able to having to respond to that checkup rather than being able to push the car in front of you. So it's a delicate spot to be in. But you do, in order for they need to be closer. They need to be closer together in order to that top side to run even faster. So you have to be up there, and if you're going to run up front, stay up front.
Yeah, and right now Hammond just seems to be bobbling a little bit on the bottom. He can get up there, coming out of 4. That's where he's good. And now, well, there we saw Medlin actually get a little squirrely there. That red machine going through the tri-oval. Well, now on the back of the screen, Dwayne MacArthur shoots up to the outside in that yellow number 1. He is riding the wave of momentum. Watched him do the same thing on the bottom last lap. He is trying to cut his way through the field. Greg McDaniel coming with a piece here.
Looks like they're getting a little bit more impatient, starting to move a little bit. Laps are starting to wind down, so I think you'll see a little more assertive racing here towards the end.
Yeah, I think it just shows who's listening to the broadcast while they're driving here, B-Mac. They heard what we said. I mean, they've heard 2 guys in the top 5 kind of say, you need to be up there a little bit. I mean, Kotska was a little more, should I say, mystique about it, wouldn't let it out. But, man, there's no way with the way these cars are so momentum-based. You got to get it yourself up to the front now. You can't run that patient Daytona-style racing that I like to race. You got to get up there to the front and control it.
Absolutely correct. And that's one of the best ways to win this race is to get up front and stay up front, and that way you're not having to come from behind. Because if you're sitting, P15 right now and you're watching that traffic not go anywhere, it is so frustrating.
See, that 9 really had to check up. Now was put on the bottom 3 wide. The 59 shot in the middle. 93 clipped the outside wall. Oh, they're stacking. They're wrecking. We're going to have another caution flag. Saw it coming. And the 93, well, I think he hit an incident limit there. That's why we saw him disappear. And boy, oh boy, that's how quick it can happen. There's a checkup once again. Cars go 3 wide. A car puts himself in the outside wall. And B-Mac, I mean, these things just so sensitive.
A lot of cars got caught up in that one. That's a lot of cars picked up a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's going to all but do it for Ogle there. I mean, that's a tough break. He may be mixing White Claws and Sunny D's after that one. And, I don't know if just one's going to do it.
Oh, boy.
But now that's kind of the interesting one because stuff starts to cycle through here. I mean, we lost some killers in that one here, B-Mac. There's no other way to put it. There were, 2 or 3 guys involved in that one that had serious contention of winning this thing. And if you survived this, I mean, you really are. You're kind of, you got a little bit of a smile on your face. You got a much better chance at bringing this thing home.
Yeah, and every car that wrecks is another car that you finish in front of.
How cool is it, too, seeing an old DEI paint scheme out front here at Daytona? I mean, that is what it's all about. Ryan, do you have a picture of the deck lid? Do you have a zoom on the deck lid, the Earnhardt sticker? I love that. They did a great job painting that machine. Do we know off the top of our head, B-Mac, who painted that machine? Do we know Eddie Jones like that?
I do not.
Now, if Andrew's coming down pit road, he had said before he was a couple gallons short. You got to think here, 30 laps to go. I mean, B-Mac, you're going to load this thing full up. Make sure we're good enough for a green-white checkered or 2 here, and we should be good to go.
Plus, you're getting tires if you need them.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point there with the tires. And I see a couple people jacking up right sides. Is there any chance now, that we are down to maybe 20 cars on the lead lap? Are you as worried about track position? Would you want tires here? As Victor Lane rolls around through 3 and 4, or through 1 and 2, excuse me. They get ready to roll down the backstretch. The boss man is out front, and I believe from talking to BMAC earlier, it's a bonus point for leading a lap.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good for Victor to see some time up front.
Most definitely. And this isn't what. Yeah, this was an interesting one because, I mean, Lushin and those boys, as I'm looking at my tracker. So Victor, he came down lap 44. He's not going to make it here. But Watkins and Everhart, BMAC, they came down on lap 52. That's 8 more laps than everybody else. Do you think maybe if they get, I'm thinking right now they need the help of at least 1, maybe 2 more cautions to make it.
Yeah, but I'm close enough so that I might start feathering the throttle and maybe trying to run behind someone rather than losing the pack there. That's close enough to start gambling a little bit. I do think we're going to start seeing, we're getting, more and more cars dropping out of the race, dropping off pace. As the field starts to shrink, we should start to see some longer green runs here. So that's when this should come into play.
Now, that being said, talking about saving gas, I mean, if you're Watkins or Everhart here, how important is it, BMAC, that you're clutching right now? I mean, you've got to be almost holding the clutch in the whole way around this place.
Shutting it off, man. Just shut the thing off and save as much fuel as you possibly can down to the last capful.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised to see some of the guys. I always loved, I guess the drivers still do it, but I always got a kick out of when they'd go down to the apron, for the fuel pickup, when they got that low and take the shortest way around the racetrack, just trying to find any edge you can. Right now, the boys doubling up here, getting ready to go back racing. We have 28 laps to go when we get the green flag. That's plenty of time here. BMAC, if you're back in, 16th, any further than that, you do have time to get up towards the front, but it's, the rest of this thing has to be, I'd say, pretty much it's go time from here on out.
Yeah, you're not going to see a lot of patience. I think it's definitely time to get moving and to at least make your move to start getting up to the front.
Now, are you nervous at all? If you're Dwayne MacArthur, you got a quick race car, especially getting to that outside, but those front 3 guys, they are on older tires here. Not much older. I'm just trying to find something here. Are you nervous at all? Those guys up front for the first time. Do you handle it any different if you're MacArthur, or do you try to just get up to the front as quick as you can?
I think you just said it, they're up front for the first time, so you're not really sure exactly how their car is going to handle, how they're going to handle the draft, what they're going to, how they're going to be able to drive the cars up front. So you do want to be a little bit more cautious, but you are also up front, so you got to also push at the same time. So it's a delicate balance.
Well, the pace car set to pull off here. 27 cars left on the lead lap. Not all of them in contention to win this thing, but all in contention for a top 10 as the green flag waves. We are back underway. Not the best start there for the boss man, and actually outside almost has the lead. It is Watkins right now, but he's got no help behind.
Yeah, Watkins just got out a little bit too far ahead, and he's going to get reeled back into the field a little bit here.
Michael Everhart working that 71 on the inside. He's got to get as close to that 10 as he can. Try to keep the boss man up there in P1 as Lushin. Big shot to Watkins there going down the backstretch. He's clear. Watkins stays up on the top shelf. Not going to leave Lushin out to dry. They can both go downstairs. And instead, the boss man slides up a little bit. And boy, oh boy, if you're Watts, man, you may have had your heart drop out there for a second. You may have got nervous.
Yeah, that was pretty close.
But that is what I was talking to you about and what you said. As the race winds down, BMAC, that gap in between is going to get smaller and smaller between that outside and inside here. And boy, oh boy, it's going to be super important. But those guys stay nose to tail. I'm seeing the outside bounce around a lot here and got me nervous here, but they got a big run going down the backstretch again.
Yeah, they got their momentum going. And, let's be able to run that fast line on the top.
Battle of the Michaels here, side by side, the 84 and the 71. Watts trying to push Lush. What a save there. Yeah, what a save, B-Mac. We both saw it. Nobody understands how big of a save that was there, going at 190 mile an hour. I mean, that's huge. That takes out at least 10-plus cars, B-Mac, if he doesn't hold on to that.
Yeah, you can see how much momentum they're losing just in that small little checkup, and that's what we talked about. You know, if you just nudge the car in front of you, you can get a little bit too close. That car loses traction, loses momentum, and it causes so much of a speed drop.
I've seen the outside line stack up here. They survived somehow. Front four got really close, and from there they kind of backed it up. And you're seeing again there, three cars on the inside clear. Now two on the inside clear. Outside building up a little bit momentum.
And the 84 is doing a really good job of staying right on that back bumper, and they give him a good push right here.
Man, Everhart, he got a shot there. Oh, we got cars around going into one. No caution flag waves. We continue for now. Who is spinning on the inside?
One we got disqualified. I think that was Chris Bates, I believe, 81.
Yeah, that was the problem. I was trying to click them, and you're right. They did get disqualified.
That's one way to avoid a yellow.
Schuler, Bates, and Nitz there. 25th, 26th, and 27th on your board. We're all DQ'd in that one. Hence, there will be no yellow flag. So we continue, and that's a tough break there. If we get can we get a fuller shot here, Ryan? Because that kind of stacked it up a little bit. There's a real small group two now, B-Mac. You see what I'm talking about? They need to line up really quick.
Yeah, they need to sort that out, try to keep their line moving and keep that speed going. That inside line looks like cars are starting to drop out and move to the tops, and then the inside line must be dropping momentum right now too.
They hurt us because they got in single file in a real big hurry. Jagerman all over the back of Fish. And the problem is, though, Jagerman, he got some damage in that last caution there with Tom Ogle. I don't know if that's, the guy you want behind you trying to catch back up. He's not that same car he was 25 laps ago.
Yeah, they're getting a little bit undisciplined now, arguing over position right here, so that's going to slow them down quite a bit.
Now we all know what those five drivers are hoping for. They're going to need some yellow laundry to fly, and it's going to need to fly quick here if they want to work their way back up into this thing. But right now, Christian Lushin out front. Got a pretty big lead here for a plate track. I'd be nervous. Here comes the 84 reeling them back in, and look at the busy bees behind. They are buzzing, coming quick. There's the 84 making the move for the lead. Michael Watts. Clear, but he stays on the bottom.
Yeah, it's time to go. You can see these cars getting impatient. If you're sitting back in 15th, it's so hard to gain that track position. You're starting to try anything you can to move up.
Yeah, and you saw Dwayne MacArthur there try to go up and shut the door and take the lead on the outside, but Lushin, he was there. MacArthur had to back out of it. He's going to have to retime that, but B-Mac, it seems like that's the move. Whatever line you're in, go to the other one, get that big run, and then swoop right back down for the lead there if you're in P3. We've seen that move a couple times here now.
Yeah, that seems to be one of the only ways, especially from the top to the bottom, where you can get a run on someone and sustain it, and be able to at least sustain it long enough to pass the car in front of you.
Now, here as we come to 21 laps to go this time, B-Mac, I know we talked about it a little bit earlier, but not so much winning in anymore. It's consistency. How does that play out here? Obviously you want to win, you need a checkered flag, but it's not like you can risk it all anymore here to go for the win. A top 5, a top 10, that's great for the overall, picture of things.
That is so true. Looks like Fish had a little bit of difficulty there. He's going to hit that inside wall pretty hard there. I wonder if he probably got some help. That's an interesting point about points here, because this is Daytona, and you kind of walk into Daytona with knowing that there's a good, solid 50% chance that you're going to wreck the car and finish, in the bottom. And so The tendency is, to go try and win the thing, but we do have to be a little mindful of points. And so to be able to walk out of here with the top 10 is not a bad result here. So it's going to be interesting to see who's willing to take the chance and roll the dice and go for the win versus lay back a little bit.
No, and it's unbelievable right now. I mean, Bill Martin hanging out 17th. I mean, he's at the back of that front pack. He's within a half a second here of the lead. So right now, I mean, it's anybody inside of this top 17 could get it done. And not that you want to say, 15th through 17th is a good points night, but it's a whole lot better than 50th, what you could have had here. So sometimes, you gotta make the best out of the situation you can. It's going to be interesting to see what path some guys take. Is boy, oh boy, that 14 machine got awfully squirrely going into 3 on the bottom. It's created a big gap there, and the 88 of Hammond, he really had to back off too. That's a good reaction there from Hammond.
Yeah, the sun's starting to set, so the track should be cooling down. That should help the grip a little bit, but those cars are getting really slick, especially off the corner. The tires are starting to wear in, and all the rubber that's down on the track right now.
Too wide here, and we've got a lap car coming up. It's going to be interesting. What does the 37 do? Eric Essery does a good job of getting low, staying out of the way. That could have been bad here. Car's coming in too wide behind. Still almost did turn bad as the 84 gives the 28 a big shot. Crisco somehow stays smooth and holds onto it. They're linked right back together. Can they get the bottom to come back in here? It seems like it's been the high side all the second half of the race here, BMAC, but maybe bottom going to start to work again here if we can behave.
I think that's the hardest shot I've seen anybody give, and at least keep the car going in the same direction. That was a solid bump right there.
Now, obviously, it's not necessarily, pulling your hair out time yet. You still do have time, 18 laps to go, but if you're that 28 of Crisco now, the bottom not working out here. You may be thinking, are you starting to get desperate? Do you maybe, instead of, we mentioned how the top can pinch the bottom down, do you start riding up the hill with them like we saw the boss man do once earlier? Do you start trying to make the outside feel uncomfortable if you think that's the place to be?
You lose so much momentum when you do that, especially peeling into that second line. And so it's a lot more difficult to do that than it is for the outside line to be able to pinch you down. So I always preferred to run the top for that reason. I just felt like I had more options. I certainly have the out to the outside, but I always felt like I had more freedom to run a more complete line than on the bottom here.
Seemed like that definitely is the place to be, and it's so interesting to watch. You can see the front 4 or 5. They are happy where they're at, but at the back of this front pack, nobody wants to be outside of that top 5 right now. Those are the guys willing to shoot to the inside, trying to make something work. Right now, Bill Martin leads the way on the bottom, but it's all for naught on that inside right now, BMAC.
It doesn't look like there's just not enough cars down on the bottom right now. You got most of the fast cars committed to the top. So it's going to make that low line just fade further and further back.
And not too sure what happened to the boss man here, Victor Lane, but he was in that lead group of cars, and all of a sudden, he's about 2 seconds back here, BMAC. It's about to be a lonely final 16 laps here for Victor Lane unless we get a caution flag.
Yeah, that's not a good feeling.
Oh, there's contact. Car in the outside wall. That's Andrew Kotska. He keeps it straight, but boy, oh boy, he definitely got some damage on that thing. I'd expect him to have to take a trip down pit road. He does. Here he comes.
Tough break for the 47 there.
Now, just like that, I mean, we are down to, what do we want to say? I mean, Bill Martin. Can he crack the whip here? If you see Bill Martin, can he stay with this lead pack? I mean, this is going to be tough. If Bill can't stay, we're down to a 12-car pack.
Well, Bill's got the advantage of a couple of team cars. The 06 of Barrett Paulson and the 59 of Sean Foltz are right there with him. So if the 3 of them can get hooked up and stay hooked up, they're going to give the rest of the field a run for the money.
Yeah, and poor Bill. It looked like he was outside of that bubble, so he's going to need help from Hammond and Guarisco behind him. And if you're Bill Martin, you may be at the point where, you know, you maybe start dragging the brake or lifting off the throttle here to make that happen a little quicker. Because, boy, oh boy, that is a tough place to be in. You got to feel bad for Bill. I mean, he had a serious chance to win this thing.
Yeah, that's a tough break.
Now, like as I had mentioned, top 11, they're pulling away here. There is no reason for them to do anything other than this. I mean, it's those guys maybe, like I was saying here, BMAC, sixth on back, where, you know, you maybe start to see them get a little aggressive. But these guys in the top 5, they are fine to let this thing ride until we get 2 to go.
Definitely. In fact, you know, longer the better in terms of staying in a straight line there. And it's those are the, you know, we've seen some just attrition through the field, and these are the guys that are left, the guys that have dodged the wrecks, the guys that have kept their car clean. So you are starting to get antsy now, 15 to go, and you start thinking you can win the race. But you also know that you do want to keep that second pack as far behind you as possible. So these guys are content to ride in a single file in a straight line. It's going to keep them a lot faster, and hats off to them for doing that.
Well, that pack is dwindling down because Eddie Jones, see ya. He is gone. The Raging Cajun lost the lead pack. We are down to 10. And if Michael Watts doesn't crack the whip here, we are down to 11, possibly 8. Is look at the gaps here in the back. Strandberg may even lose it here. I mean, wild. What are we seeing here, B-Mac? This is tough.
Well, the thing about these cars is you can't, there's so little acceleration. So if you make a tiny mistake and you start to lose the draft, and you're gonna get the second off of the draft in no time, and you just never catch back up because you don't have any help pushing you. So it's a really, you know, bad feeling to be the guy on the tail end of the field trying desperately to hang on to the draft.
You got to wonder too. I do like to pride myself. Now it's in the other car, but you know, I'm a guy that will kind of bait some people into losing the draft here, hanging out at the tail end. You got to wonder if that's maybe what Dwayne was doing there, because it was about a 7 or 8 tenths of a second gap between him and the car in front of him. All of a sudden, once those guys lost the draft there, B-Mac, he decided to hightail it right back up there to the front pack. And maybe I'm giving him a little too much credit here, but man, if Dwayne had something to do with that, that is smart restrictor plate racing.
I wouldn't be surprised, man. Dwayne's a really good racer, especially at tracks like this.
And now we've got this thing into where, realistically, if it stays green, 7 drivers have a shot at winning this thing. So, I mean, I'm not a mathematician, but a lot better odds than 1 out of 50 here. And any one of these guys, B-Mac, could be taking this thing home as we roll off of 4 here. We're looking to come to 10 to go. Who are you keeping your eye on here in this top 7? Where are we leaning?
Well, I think you always have to look at the number 1. McDaniels is capable of winning wherever he's gone. The 59 and the 6, if they can stay hooked up with 2 team cars, they got a chance. And of course, the General, the 83, never count him out.
Yeah, not to one up you here, but I'm going to go with a guy you didn't mention. I like that Hooters machine. I mean, Brian Lynch, he's always hangs out. He's had an up and down year last year, but man, anytime he's in that top 5, towards the end with 10 to go, he's always thrown his hat in the ring. I wouldn't be surprised to see that 9 pull something off here.
Yeah, if we stay green right here, I think anybody in this top group league group is capable of this. None of these guys would surprise me if they win. It's going to be interesting to see how long they stay nose to tail when they start kind of dicing around here, especially, you know, 4th or 5th on back.
Yeah, and that's the key issue there, 4th or 5th on back. I think if I'm 2nd and 3rd, I'm almost willing to wait till the white flag lap, but it's there a little further back. Once you hit that 59 of Fultz, it's when does he loses his patience. And I think if you're the 59, B-Mac, correct me if I'm wrong, you're probably looking out of the rear view mirror just as much as you are the windshield here, trying to see if guys are going to time a run and go.
Definitely, especially with all the momentum changes and the way the cars are moving around the draft, you are looking at that rear view mirror almost all the time.
Right now, top 7 continue to stay in line as we work the 8 laps to go here at the beaches in Florida. everybody being patient. Who is going to be that first guy to jump out of line and try to make it work? It looked like the 9. Whoa, he got a little loose there. He was trying to bait MacArthur to maybe go down low and follow him. He yanked it back up the racetrack, got a little loose. Did he save it enough here? Is he going to lose the draft? This is going to be close. He is got to be perfect here.
Yeah, it doesn't take much.
No, and he's got no help from behind. That is it. I mean, I would say that's probably going to be it. Unless Dwayne's going to be nice here. Maybe drag the brake a little bit, put himself at that half-second gap. Brian Lynch, sayonara, down to 6 cars left.
That's tough break. That's just, especially right now at this point of the race, these guys, they have to be perfect in order to win, in order to stay up front, in order to keep the draft, especially as it starts to dwindle. The number of cars start to dwindle. You have to be perfect every single corner.
No, and I do want to highlight here. I mean, you guys heard me talk about it earlier. That 3 car, I know for a fact he put 4 tires on that sucker. The other time he was in. Well, there. Okay, never mind. I'm going to be quiet. I was going to say he's the only guy who I haven't saw get loose on the outside. And right as I was about to make a point, he gets loose and almost wrecked. So Christian, I'll be quiet. I won't bring it up again, brother.
You make a good point. He's the only car that did something different. So he's the only car that's got those 4 freshmen. It's making a difference.
Yeah, I thought it would make enough of a difference, maybe to whip that thing down the racetrack. But boy, he made my heart jump. They're coming off of 4, and Dwayne MacArthur, he was battling with that lap car a little bit to try to get around. And guess what? I think the general, he may have just shot himself in the foot. It's going to be close. He's at least got a car behind him. I don't know here, B-Mac.
That's he's frustrated behind the wheel right now. Losing momentum like that. And I don't think it looks like he's got enough to be able to make it back up into the tail end of the draft.
Yeah, it's close. He is searching for everything. You could see him go down, try to tuck behind that 37. Now goes back down to the inside. He is looking for everything, but I'll tell you, he is in no man's land, and he is not going to get there. We are down to 5 cars into this thing, contending for a win here if we stay green. Oh, boy. B-Mac, that's a tough one if you're Dwayne, but that's where, when he goes back and looks at this, hopefully he hears our conversation 20 laps ago. Points, points, points. You got to try to find the bright spot out of that.
It's so strange here, too, because these guys are driving and really just trying to be smooth and trying to not make mistakes rather than, trying to, be as fast as they possibly can through the corners. They're seeing these guys drop off the draft, and they know that if they make just the tiniest of mistakes, they're going to be the ones to drop off the draft, too. So they are down here trying to be perfect.
No, and it kind of amazes me, too. Paulson has been, keeping that gap. Right there. He is not nervous. And, with that gap, B-Mac, he's putting a lot of pressure on himself.
He sure
One
is.
little
It's
slip,
close.
and he's gone. I mean, he doesn't have that leeway that, well, really, the other guys didn't have that leeway either. You could see they were in the middle of traffic, and one little mistake, lose it. But, man, you got to think either Paulson playing real safe here, thinking these guys might get a little hairy the final couple laps, or maybe, just maybe, he thinks he can pull a big enough run here to try to get 4 guys if he keeps the back big enough, or the gap big enough. 3 laps to go.
Looks like he's latched back on the tail end of the lead lap there, so he's not in any danger of losing the draft right now.
Yeah, I'm almost wondering. I mean, he keeps playing games, maybe timing a run to see what he can do. I mean, is there a guy that we should watch out for here with Paulson? Maybe he's willing to help a little more than another. Does he have a teammate up here, B-Mac?
Yeah, the 59 is a teammate. They are undoubtedly trying to work together here. They are, as far as I know, the only 2 teammates in the front pack, so it gives them at least a little bit of an advantage.
Okay, that definitely makes sense then for the gap, but definitely a little weird to me that, maybe they wouldn't be trying to time this together. Maybe Foltzy fall back a little bit, and, Paulson give him that big shove going down the backstretch while he's got some draft. because I think 2 cars tightened up here, B-Mac. They could give those 3 cars a little run here if Greg McDaniel once again doesn't use that power here and tighten up. And they could do something, but they're going to have to be perfect here. And we are running out of time. They only got a lap and a half to go.
Yeah, if they're going to do it, they need to go starting right now. Great race so far by the 12 Medlin. He has controlled the pace of the race for the whole back half. And hats off to him, no matter the outcome, for being here at the end.
Probably the most helpless position in racing out front at either here or Talladega as the white flag waves. Andrew Medlin, 2.5 miles away from a checkered flag. Can he hold off Christian Lushin? He's got Greg McDaniel in P3. The boys in 4th and 5th don't seem to be tightened up together enough to really look like they can affect this outcome, B-Mac. I don't know. We may get what we see here. Yeah, we may get what we see.
It's like the 3 starting to get a little right, peeking to the inside. He's got the door open. That's going to bring the 12 back into the rest of the field, bring them all together.
Foltz goes down to the inside trying to help Lushin, but it's Medlin right now in the lead as we enter the tri-oval. He doesn't have any help, though, but he's got enough to hold on. He wins the first race of the season here at the Daytona International Speedway. I'll tell you what, B-Mac, I'm telling you, I can't remember who we talked to. It may have been Kotska, said he did not want to be P1 on that final lap. I would have agreed with him 100 times out of 100. Medlin, textbook. I don't know how he held on to that.
He kept that gap between those other cars and just kept those other cars from getting a run on him. And that was an outstanding drive. Again, hats off for, getting that track position, getting the lead and keeping it and just staying there and keeping everybody behind him. That's a wonderful, wonderful win.
Well, as Andrew Medlin puts it around here, we'll get ready to take a little break here, grab a drink of water. Medlin will do the same. We will come back with your full field rundown of your 50 cars, and we'll interview your top 3. Stick around on the Virtual Grip Network. We are back live on the Virtual Grip Network. And, well, Brian, we knew we were going to be in for quite the different race, man. These cars, it is going to be a fun season. They do not handle the way these drivers would like them to. And, man, you are going to have to be a wheel man if you want to make it out of this season alive.
No question about it. The air upsets the cars. The back end's got so much power, it gets so loose. So you're going to have to wheel it and be perfect to win these things.
Well, let's go ahead. Let's pull up that final rundown here. We'll go by 10s, B-Mac, and, well, Andrew Medlin leads the white flag lap, and somehow the checkered flag lap beats Christian Lushin by about half a car. Sean Foltz, P3, Greg McDaniel, P4, Derek Paulson rounds out your top 5. The General, P6, Dwayne MacArthur, Jack Yegerman, 7th, Bruce Pearson, 8th, Dave Matson, 9th, and Bill Martin rounds out your top 10.
And the 84 with a strong run, finishing P11. Kelvin Master finishing 12th. Kevin Strandberg finishing 13th. The 09 of Brian Lynch finishing 14th. Eddie Jones finishing 15th. Crisco giving us a P16. Andy Thomas P17. The Hammer Greg Hammond P18. Tommy and Macy 19th. And Michael Everhart rounding out your top 20.
Gavin Adams coming home P21, the boss man, Victor Lane 22nd, Matt Watkins 23rd, Alan Wanamaker 24th, and Eric Essery, your top 25, Larry Corey 26th, Nick Self 27th, 28th Bob Fellenbaum 29th, Torrance Childs, and your top 30, Andrew Kotska.
And P31, Mark Fish, Chris Bates, the 81, 32nd. 33rd, Randy Schuler, 34th, Rick Nitz, 35, the P77 of Roger Hurley. P36, the 93 of Patrick Martindale getting in that early trouble. P37, Tom Oval also had some fast speed early in the race. And P38, the 95 of Fred Wolford. 39th, Brian Glass, and rounding out the top 40, the 21 of Luke Lane.
And the final 10 drivers, Jonathan Brown, 41st, Lloyd Moore, Dan Hill, Brian Lindsay, Lon Corey, top 45. And the final 5, Jeff Lyden, Ken Allen, Todd Cousins, Scott Negus, and John Hastings. As well, it's that time. First podium interviews of the year. Let's go ahead, pull up that third place finisher, Sean Foltz. Sean, Shaggy in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yep, I got you guys.
Long time no speak, brother. Wasting no time getting right back onto the podium. Man, how are we feeling? I know, you can't turn the clocks back, but, man, you had that teammate behind you. I thought maybe you guys were going to go hunting for a win. Did you wait a little too long?
No, I think my teammate didn't have anyone behind him, so there's nothing we could do. We were talking, saying that all we can do is wait for the people in front of us to make a move and then decide what we're going to do at that point.
So basically, hands kind of tied behind your back there. I mean, it seemed like in the beginning stage of the race, guys were kind of having success on the bottom, but correct me if I'm wrong here, Sean. About the halfway point, maybe you guys understood the handling of the race cars a little better. That outside line seemed like that was where you needed to be.
Yeah, I believe the outside is probably where we needed to be all race long. It just, you start getting a lot of guys in both lanes, and then you can't really go anywhere. And then once you start getting a few guys drop off from the bottom and you start getting more on the top, it's and you get nice steady runs, no bob and weaving. If you get a nice straight line of guys going, yeah, it's pretty fast.
Now, it seemed like this car was a handful here tonight, even at Daytona Super Speedway. What do you expect here when we go into Rockingham next week? I mean, these cars are probably going to be on the slip and slide. You think we can handle this thing, get on the podium again?
Oh, I don't know. Rockingham, it's a good track. I don't care for it too much, but yeah, this car is a handful, and it's going to be like the old Rockingham, I think. So it's going to be really bumpy, like it is here at old Daytona. So yeah, I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of bumping and banging. I'll probably burn up my right front more than anything.
Well, hey, all about consistency this year, Sean. No more winning in, and a P3 is a great way to start the year. Congratulations on the bottom step of the podium. Who you want to thank before you get out of here?
My teammates during the race, before the race and practice and everything, some good tips about what to do, where to run, and just I'm glad Derek was still behind me and he didn't lose the draft there at the end.
Well, congratulations, Sean. Hopefully we're talking to you again next week. Good luck the rest of the way, brother.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Sean Foltz brings home P3, and now you get to talk to the man who brought home P2. B-Mac, who you got?
Christian, you got a copy, bud?
I sure do.
Nice finish, my man. You established yourself middle of the race and got up to the front and wound up being there pretty much the whole race. Walk us through like the last 25 laps.
It was basically, when I was up front, it was more just kind of figuring out what the high line was like. I had figured out there's a little bit of a part of the line where it was actually a little bit smoother than the rest of the track. And so I kind of made a home there and kind of understood everything that was kind of going on that part of the track. And once I knew I had some good pushers behind me, I was just like, we're going to rip. I'm just going to stay up here. If someone goes down, they'll probably just fall back a little. I'm just going to sit here. This is my strategy. And if I get past, I get past. I can make up a plan for the move. And for the last about 10 laps, I was kind of testing runs, but I wasn't going to pass. I was just going to keep pushing until that last lap, because I knew that about around that point was when I needed to go.
Yeah, it looked like on the last lap, it looks like P1 got a little bit of separation from you, and it made it a little bit more difficult to try and drop down. Were you trying to just push him to the win, or were you looking for an opportunity there to drop in, maybe sneak one away?
I was trying to kind of drop back a little to kind of build a run to kind of make sure I had a bit of a chance to kind of make a move. I was really hoping the one car would kind of follow me a bit, but unfortunately that did not happen. Luckily, Sean kind of came through and helped me salvage a P2 finish so that Greg wouldn't pop me there. But other than that, it was mainly just kind of biding my time for about 15, 20 laps.
Well, man, you got a clean race car, a solid P2 finish. It's an outstanding way to start the season. Who do you want to thank?
Just want to thank everyone here. Thanks for kind of letting me kind of race over here. As well as thanks for Victor to host, and thanks for you guys to broadcasting it all.
Well, right on, brother. Let's see you on the podium again. Great race tonight, and have a good one. We'll see you again real soon.
Yeah, you too.
Now it's time to bring up the belle of the ball here, Andrew Medlin. Shaggy in the booth, brother. You got a copy?
I got a copy, Shaggy. How you guys doing today?
I'll tell you what, man. I thought I was doing good, but not as good as you are. You win here to start off the year at Daytona. When you're coming, you're getting that white flag. I mean, give me the honest truth here, Andrew. Did we think we were going to come around and take the checkered flag first?
No, as you know, probably calling many super speedway races, a lot of times you don't want to be that guy out front because you're sitting duck. But I really appreciate the boys racing clean. I was hoping those last few laps we would just stay in line, because we had kind of checked out from the second pack, and I was just waiting as I got that white flag for Christian make the move down low, and I thought the one car would roll with him, but when they did it in 3, we kind of got spaced out, and it allowed me to keep just enough momentum coming off turn 4 to take the checkered first.
Yeah, and you brought up there that they kind of split up in 3, and not that we want to give them advice for the next time. I'd be happy to talk to you again, Andrew, if you lead the white flag lap as well. But were you shocked that he came so late with the run? Because me personally, I expected to see him come like a cannon out of 2, but it looked like he, waited. I mean, it looked like he could have made the move early, but just decided maybe it was too early. I mean, were you surprised by that?
I was. But there was only 6 of us, so that definitely changed the strategy there. Because if he would have, gone low, maybe coming out of 2 or going into 1, he could have been a sit and duck and gone back. So I certainly understand why he waited. And when we went into 3 and he went low and I saw the one car stay up with me, I felt really good about my odds at that point.
Now, next week, not to look too far ahead, but we roll into Rockingham. How are we feeling? Is there any chance, we're talking to you again at the end? You got any confidence rolling in there?
Well, I'll tell you what, normally I would, but I'm going to be out of town next week. Rockingham's where I first drove a stock car in the late 90s at the Buck Baker Racing School with a guy named Buddy Baker. So there's a lot of personal excitement about racing there, but I'm going to be out of town. So I'll be sitting on the sideline ready to return in 2 weeks.
Well, I'll tell you what, knowing you're going to be out of town next week, you did the right thing. You maximized points this week. Heck of a job, Andrew. Congratulations on the big win. No better way to start off the season than a win at the Daytona International Speedway. Congratulations. Who you want to thank?
Yeah, I always have a laundry list of people to thank, but I want to thank my beautiful wife, Sarah, for allowing me to do this and have fun out here in the iRacing world. My brother, Aaron, my dad, Bruce, and my nieces and nephews that sometimes tune in, my awesome teammates at Team Miata, Tom Ogle, Brian Lynch, Josh Robinson. He wasn't here tonight, but he was the wind beneath our sails. And obviously YesterYear Racing and the awesome admins that run OBRL. And can't leave out you guys making a great call at Virtual Grip Network.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you were teammates with Josh. I was telling Brian earlier, now you can relay the message. You tell him he's not allowed to run any more OBRL stuff till he comes back here. We miss him. We miss that competitiveness. He's got to get his butt back here on Sunday nights.
I know. He's prioritizing work over this. I'm not sure. He's got to get his priorities in order. But I will pass the message along and look forward to seeing you guys in 2 weeks.
Yeah, maybe shoot me an email where he works too here. Andrew, we'll take care of that. He won't work there any longer.
All right.
Andrew Medlin bringing home the big win here. And BMAC, what better way to start off the season? I mean, you're going to have your hiccups. Guys got to figure out this new car. But as you could see there, once they figured it out in a hurry, got up to the outside, found out where it was fast, and we had a green flag run to close this thing out.
Yeah, strong run at the end. We had that attrition like we talked about, but there that last part, those last 6 guys figured out how to go fast and stay fast, and Andrew was perfect to win the race.
Well, Ryan, you know the drill. It's been a while, but let's go ahead and pull up what's coming up next on the Virtual Grip Network. When am I coming back? I forget. Friday. I don't really talk about anything except when I'm coming back. I'll be back Friday at Concord. And then, of course, BMAC, we were talking to some of the drivers about it. Rockingham, man, in this race car, I am already excited. We're going to have some cautions, no doubt about it, but it is going to be, guys are really going to be driving off that right rear. Cars are going to be sliding around. It is fun to watch NASCAR again.
Yeah, they're going to be wheeling. It's going to be a totally different feel than being here at this big old track at Daytona.
Well, that's going to wrap it up here for the OBRL YesterYear Racing Gen 4 Cup Series. I'd like to thank my partner, BMAC, Brian McRae. Of course, the best, the dude in the back, Ryan Seneker. And last but not least, we at the Virtual Grip Network want to thank all of you for tuning in. Have a great night.